Hey everybody, it's Dr. Levi with your show, The Dr. Levi Show. Happy to have you with us today. Lots to discuss. Today is July 26, 2017. Beautiful day here in Los Angeles. I have to tell you, whenever I'm saying the date, my team always gets real stressed out. Like, am I going to see the 26th, 28th, or 29th? Because they just don't know, and sometimes I don't know. So happy to have you with us, and we have so much to discuss. Today is our Women's Empowerment Show, so we talk about issues that really affect women, specifically in our culture where women are really pushed upon and really thought to be less than men, which is really unbelievable. Because if you think about it, women and men should really share an equal platform. And in our society, which is so misogynistically based, women are taught that they are less than, should receive less pay for the same work, that they don't have the same value as men, which is really crazy if you think about it, because women bear children. Women keep the world going. Women can be CEOs, presidents, astronauts, physicists, accountants, doctors, nurses. They can be anything they want to be. However, I think it's so important that we as a community remind young women from the ages of 2 months on that they can be whatever they want, that their lives are based upon what they want. It's not about being in a cookie cutter mode that you have to be a stay-at-home mom, even though stay-at-home moms are phenomenal. They have one of the toughest jobs on the earth because they're at home all day, taking care of their children, doing what they can to make life phenomenal. And the other thing, if you think about the stay-at-home mom, she never has a vacation. She's always at home. She's always working. So I have great respect, great love for women who do that. And at the same token, there's stay-at-home dads too, who also render the same amount of great love and compassion for their kids. So I wanna really make it clear that this show for women's empowerment is really about making this decree, this really loud decree, without any vitriol, that women should be valued, women should be loved, women should be appreciated, and women should not be attacked. Women should not be beaten. Women should never have someone, man or woman, lay their hands upon them. And that if we as a society are more aware of this, then we can do things to make this happen. It's really about, are you involved? Are you active? Are you a part of the problem? Or are you a part of the solution? I'm really happy today because shortly I'm going to bring on someone who really is a part of the solution. He's really about empowerment. He's about education. He's about really teaching women, young women, from the ages of 7 years old on up to 99 plus, how you can defend your life, how you can defend your body, and that you have control of your body. I think it's so important that we as a community let young women know, as well as young boys also know, that no one has the right to touch them. No one has the right to beat them, push them, kick them. No one has the right to do that. They have to be valued. So I'm doing this show today because it comes from a place of truth for me, because as a young man, as a young boy, you know, my father was an alcoholic and drug abuser, so I saw him beat the hell out of my mother on Fridays and Saturdays. And yet we go to church on Sundays if everything was A-okay. You know, I know how he beat me, but he never touched my sister. But myself, I remember it clearly to this day. And now even at 35 plus, those memories still haunt me. They still stay with me. So not that I go to a place of post-traumatic stress about it. No, I keep on living. You know, my job is to do what I can. You know, the great thing about, I think, the dads that do these bad things, they teach us how not to act. They teach us how not to be. They teach us how to love women even more, how to appreciate them more, how to respect them even more, because they didn't do that. So I want to say today, this show really is dear to my heart because it's really about me revisiting a past that was really shadowy, that was really dark, that was really tough, that was really violent. You know, when it comes to alcoholics, as I've said before on the show, there are the 5 types that I always see in my medical profession, and there's the happy drunk, there's the sleepy drunk, there's the crying drunk, There's the sad drunk, and then there's the violent drunk. And my father was the violent drunk. And we often say that they're the most scary because often when they come back to themselves, they'll tell you that they don't remember saying or doing what they did, but they did it. And you'll have the bruises my mother did to show what was done to her. So this is a very intense show for me, a very emotional show, but yet one that I think will empower you to take your life in your hands, will empower you to talk to your neighbors and to talk to your young daughters that they should be valued. Because it really all comes from a place of self-worth. People treat us the way we allow them to. So we have to let young women know that no one should touch them if they don't want to be touched, that no one should push them or beat them. That's not their lives. That it should not be allowed to even endure that type of violence. And also, we have to tell children, especially young women and boys, that there are no good secrets. If someone says, I'm going to do this and we're going to do this, but don't tell your mommy or your daddy, it's between you and me, that doesn't roll. That doesn't fly. There are no good secrets. There never have been, never will be. And the thing about it is every family has these dark secrets that no one talks about the uncle who did things that weren't correct, about the aunt that did or said things that weren't correct, about the cousin that's sitting in a rocking chair because he or she did things as a kid, but now they don't have their mind anymore. There are all kind of little funny secrets that every family has. But I want to say that I'm hoping that this show is about the resurrection of the fact that there are no good secrets. And everything is better when it's in the light. No matter who you are, what you do, what you say, it's better to do it on the surface, besides to do something behind someone's back or to do things in the shadow. Shadow is never a good place. It's always better to live a life in the light. Again, it's always better to live a life in the light. All right? Transparency, period. It just works better that way, I think. So this show is really about reminding women to love themselves, appreciate themselves, and also to learn how to defend yourself. How do you do that? You know, do you always simply, do you look at things on YouTube? Do you go and take a class? Well, I think defense is very, very important. It's very important that women know how to defend themselves. Now, today we have on the show someone who's really a trailblazer in that market, in that arena of how to teach women how to defend themselves. And more importantly, his platform is really phenomenal because it's really about empowering women. It's about educating them and reminding them about the true strength that they have, that they don't have to get strength, and that no one really, any woman on the face of the earth right now, any woman, if you're listening right now, I want you to know that you are complete by yourself. A man may compliment you or a woman may compliment you. However, he or she does not complete you. You're perfect and you're unique and you're beautiful and you're amazing and you're spectacular and phenomenal and magnificent and all of that all by yourself. Now, if you have us in your life or if you have a woman in your life, phenomenal. Congratulations. Awesome. But they complement you. They don't complete you. You're a sentient, phenomenal being all by yourself. Why? Because you take you wherever you go, period. You don't take me. You don't take that lover or husband or wife. You take you wherever you go. So why not take a you that you love? Why not take you that's self-confident? Why not take a you that is empowered? And why not take someone that's actually able to defend themselves if someone crosses that very thin line of respect? Respect is very thin. And when someone crosses that line, you have to remind them, hey, wait a second. No, I'm not going to let you treat me that way. No, take your hands off of me. No, I'm not going to allow you to kick me or punch me or slap me. Let me see. No, I'm not going to allow that. So I want to welcome to the show today Mr. Chris Britto, and he's with Divas in Defense. So I can't wait for him to tell you about his organization and what they're doing really on a national basis to change the face of how women defend themselves. That whole narrative has to be changed. And I'm so happy to have him on the show today to talk about why he's done this and what the impact that he thinks is going to have globally, and also, of course, nationally. So welcome to the show, Chris. Happy to have you with us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Divas in Defense. When did you start this program?
So Divas in Defense was founded by myself and my older brother,
Yes.
Cole Parker. We started in 2010.
So it's been up 7 years now.
Yes. It was a conversation in 2010.
Yes.
We were up and running maybe a year later.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, what was the push for you to do this? What in your past, or even the way you were living, that made you think, I want to do a program like this?
Well, so it started as I've had over 12 years in personal protection working for celebs and executives.
Yes.
And my daughter was born. And
Lucky you.
I constantly told people I wanted a daughter.
Yes.
So I got her.
Right.
And
Mrs. Parker?
yes.
Yep.
Yes. That's
She's
Parker.
here with us today, everybody. She's absolutely stunning, gorgeous, beautiful kid.
Well,
Yeah,
thank
smart
you,
and
thank
brilliant
you. I like
also.
to say I had something to do with that.
Oh, you did. You did. you had a 50% contribution.
Right, I had something in
right,
there.
right.
But as a father, knowing that, I'm not going to always be there.
Correct.
I wanted her personally just to know how to protect herself.
Right.
And it was presented to me to do it at a church.
Okay.
And I called my brother, like, what do you think about this?
Yes.
And by the end of that conversation, Divas in Defense was born.
Fantastic.
And it was later when we joined in to do a conference for the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence.
Yes.
And I found out there from just experiencing different things with women and talking to my brother, he was like, well, mom is a survivor of domestic violence. And I said, whose mom?
Did you really?
And he was like, our mother. And I was like, what? So from
So
there.
you didn't know that your mom
No.
had endured and survived
Not at all.
and was victorious over that.
Not at all. And when I found that out, that was more of a kick or a push to take the business to another point.
So that was a boost for you to
That was my
up-level
my
the game.
boost right there.
Right.
To be like, oh, do we have to really do this, or something has to change.
Now, did you remember your mother having any?
Well, it wasn't my father, so it
got
was
you.
prior to my
To your father.
existence.
Got
Yes.
it. Got it.
So I don't know any of it.
Yes.
But
your brother was aware of it.
Yes, and some things have come to light since my knowing of it and asked questions.
Right.
But as the baby
Yes.
in the family, when you find out those things about your mother, and it's like, well, all I've ever seen was the strong single mother to do what she was going to do to make sure we were okay.
Exactly.
It was like, well, if no one else, I'm going to make sure I do this for her.
Of course.
In addition to the fact that I have a daughter, I would just want to make some life-changing
Absolutely.
thing for all of us.
Of course. What did your mother think of this when you shared this with her?
To be honest, originally she didn't want to discuss it.
Really?
She didn't want to bring it out that it was true.
Right.
So it was very hard.
Right.
But it didn't stop me from pushing forward or continuing to work with my brother on growing the business and
To make this happen.
and make it happen. Correct.
Right. One thing I find very interesting too, as you say this, that your mom didn't really want to discuss it. To this day with my mother, if I bring up anything about my dad, she always says the following three things: Levi, he is still your father. 2, he did the best that he could do. And 3, I forgive him for everything he did to us, which I find amazing. Because I'm still working on it. I'm still working on the forgiveness part.
I can understand.
I'm not there yet, but I'm doing all the baby steps to kind of get to a place of knowing that the tortures that I saw my mother endure and how she grew as a single mom and the strength that she had and how she was fearless just to go forth and make life work for me and my sister. I just think I just have such love and respect for that woman. So I find it amazing with them that they still will not badmouth or say anything negative about the abuser. I find that very interesting.
It's hard to understand.
Yeah, I don't understand that one. I don't.
And I think my first encounter was really at that conference.
Yes.
And to hear women tell their stories of what they've been through, and well, I'm okay now, and it's like, well, what can I do?
Right.
What
To
can I
make a
do for you?
difference.
Like,
Yes.
what can I help with?
Right.
You know,
Right.
is he still alive?
Right. Right. Exactly.
You know, like
For now.
like where is he?
Right, where is he?
You know, but I figured just trying to empower the next generation
Yes.
of women, or trying to make a difference just with them,
Of course.
would be good enough to try to put a stop to, you know, the ongoing
It's
cycle.
what we see. Exactly.
Or let them know they have options, or
Right.
you know, it's okay to tell someone.
Absolutely.
You know, don't feel like you can't.
Right.
You know,
That's what I think is so important, Chris, is that the conversation has to be open. That women have to feel like, and I think people in general, that there is a safe place, and this can be discussed.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be just held as a secret of someone hit me, someone pushed me, but I can't tell anybody. I think after that first push, that's the sign right there, it stops there. After that first slap, it stops there. Because the goal, I think, is we don't want to get to the slap. We don't want to get
Right.
to the push. We want to get to the point of saying, okay, this looks funny. I think if I continue with this relationship, this person might become violent to me. This person may be abusive toward me. I think we have to see, like, what are the, and I want you to talk about this. I really want you to expound upon this. What are the warning signs that people should know when they're in a relationship, man or woman, that things are not going right, and that what do we do to stop getting to the point of that first kick, slap, or push, or abusive word? Because don't forget, sometimes the abuse will not be physical. It can be mental.
Correct.
It can be via the internet. It can be
Monetary.
cyberbullying. It can be monetary.
Yes.
It can be. But I think the bottom line for all this, I believe, and I want to hear what you think about, is from self-worth. We have to remind people that they are worthy. What are your thoughts?
Well, so with that being said, I want to, you know, jump on that.
Yes.
And more so as just an announcement to men, you know, foremost, just this jealousy stuff, it has to stop.
Right.
You know, I kind of feel like I was brought up in a way where, you know, if someone else can take her, they can have her.
Of course.
You know,
she wasn't meant for me.
she wasn't meant for you. She wasn't yours to begin with.
Absolutely.
So if you see her across the room talking to some other guy,
Right.
instead of going into some rage or being jealous,
Right.
you know, have faith that that's not what's going on.
Exactly.
And then if that is what's going on, then just be man enough, just say, hey,
Good luck.
good luck.
Right.
And walk away.
Walk away. Right.
You know, there's no point of arguing about that
None.
or doing anything, you know, or trying to be in control of
Right.
different things like that. I think jealousy and control are the opening signs that women should look for
I believe that.
out the gate.
Right.
If it's any type of jealousy or any type of controlling situation, I think you need to look at that.
Right.
You know, don't wait for the raise of voices. Don't wait
Right.
for, you know, the actual slap or push to happen.
Right.
Just
Right.
identify those things first.
Absolutely.
And realize you have an option. Is this something that I can deal with, or is this something I'm not going to deal with?
Right.
And then make the choice right then and there.
Absolutely.
And that's and to be honest with you, that's self-defense right there.
It is, though.
Just being aware of what's going on in your
and
surroundings.
that's preventive self-defense.
Yes, that's what it is. And a lot of that is what's more important than anything else.
Absolutely. I agree with that. You know, I really think it's wonderful, though, that your organization is also about education, because you're really letting women know it's not simply about the warning signs, but it's also about being aware of your life, being aware of your surroundings,
Yes.
being aware of how you're being treated by people. And if you're not being treated properly, then you do something about
Exactly. Because you're still in control of how people treat you.
it. Exactly.
And once you take control of yourself, then no one else can control you.
Correct. How do you think this is impacting your daughter, you know, Parker, you know, because she sees you, she sees everything that you're doing, and her mind is now open and aware of how she will be treated, how she'll allow people to treat her. It must really make you feel good that you're raising this beautiful daughter who is very self-aware.
I think I'm tougher on her than I am with anybody. Because
All out of love, though.
Yes, but because I do the classes,
Right.
there's no reason for you to have to deal with this.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
Right.
You know, there should be no bullying situations going on because Dad covers this.
Exactly.
You know, we
Exactly.
talk about this.
Exactly.
Like, so if something's not going right, you know,
We need to talk
it's
about
out the way
Absolutely.
immediately. Like,
Absolutely.
you know, someone pushed you. Well, what happened?
Right.
I need to know. So what did you do?
Right.
How did that happen? Was this the first time? This is going to be the last?
Absolutely.
You know, it's those things as a parent that you want I just instill to make sure that she understands that, okay, if someone hits you and you hit them back, daddy's not going to be upset. I understand the school might not be happy,
Right.
but I'm comfortable with the fact that you made a decision that you weren't going to let someone do that to you.
Right.
And I'm happy with that.
Right.
So,
and she's taking the class with you, of course, I'm sure.
I mean, we hit pads. I've put her in other jujitsu classes,
Right.
Just so she can be around kids. 'Cause, I mean, we can't play.
Oh no.
You know, like I'm a big guy,
Right,
so it's
absolutely.
hard to try to maneuver certain things.
Absolutely.
But I do try to put her in classes with other kids,
Right.
so she can have boxing or Muay Thai and different things like that.
Absolutely. To stay athletically fit too.
Just to be a part of that.
Right.
So when you get to the point where we might be able to practice together,
Right.
well, then we can go into some other things that I would teach you.
Absolutely. Now let's hear about some of the basic fundamentals that Divas in Defense teach. What are the things that you teach with this program?
Step one is just being aware.
Got it.
A lot of women, sorry to say this, ladies, but you're not aware of what's going on around you. You're so busy typing in your phone and walking, or you got your earbuds in your ear because you don't want no one asking you for your number.
That could be women and men. That could be women and men.
Right, but that's my target, or my
women.
audience is women.
Absolutely.
So that's why I speak in that format.
Got it.
But yes, men are they do it too.
Right.
We have our dumb moments.
Of course.
Yes. But more women don't remember where they park.
That's interesting.
It's just giving them those things like, hey, you have that cool iPhone or Android.
Take
a picture of that parking spot. Look at it before you get there.
I do it all the time myself.
You have keyless entry. There's no reason why you pulling out your keys, pushing the car button, talking about, the car's over there.
You're right.
Meet me at the car.
Exactly.
So
true. So true.
it's those things that are more important. Keeping your head on a swivel. Look at what's going on around you.
Right.
If someone's on your block that you've never seen,
Right.
you can say hello.
Right.
And find out why are they in the area.
Right.
Did you just move over here? Are you visiting someone?
Right.
Don't y'all nosy anyway? No. But don't
Better
kill me,
watch
ladies.
it. He said it. The doctor said nothing.
But just you have that right. If someone's
yes.
walking behind you, you can say, "Get away from me," or walk on that side of the street. I don't feel comfortable.
Right.
Let them walk ahead of you.
Right.
Well, what happens a lot of times, they clutch their purse and put their head down and walk faster. You don't know who's there.
Right. Who's coming up?
Right. So what you should do is stop, turn around, assess the situation. If someone's there, look at them. Well, what that does, it gives you an opportunity to see what they look like, how tall they might be, what are they wearing,
what are they holding their hands.
Right. What's going on, and then if they try to come towards you, where you're in a position to where you can fight,
right,
because they're in front of you.
Yeah, and you're aware.
Yes, that's really what it is.
Awareness.
And another thing I want to say is, women, stop saying I can fight. A fight is something that you plan for. You know it's about to happen. Self-defense is something that is something totally different.
Right.
It's being defensive and offensive are two different things.
Right.
So knowing how to get yourself out of a situation once it's happened is self-defense.
Right. Right.
Someone pissed you off and you ball your fist up, that's a fight.
Got it.
It's just a big difference between the two.
So what are the fighting techniques that you will teach women to defend themselves in general?
So I use a lot of open hand strikes.
Yes.
Because I know what if she just left the nail shop? She don't want to break a nail. So let's keep them as fierce.
He said it, not Dr. Levi.
I'm just saying they just left the nail shop.
Right.
We got to keep them fierce and fabulous all the time. If they're fierce and fabulous all the time, then we're okay.
Right.
So open hand strikes are just more natural for them to slap or hit with an open hand.
Got it.
So let's teach you the effective ways of doing that.
Right. And where to land those
the
strikes
nose,
also.
or if you're gonna have those long nails, poke them in the eye.
Right.
Like those. That's
True.
just simple things.
True.
So our strikes and techniques are really situation based.
Right.
Scenario based self defense I think is one of the best self defense out there.
I totally agree with you.
Because we create.
It's real. It's a real.
Exactly.
It's a recreation of what you might really encounter.
Like you can't go to a taekwondo class in your heels. But you can come to a Divas in Defense class in your heels.
Right.
And I'll teach you how to get, be safe in your pumps.
Right.
Kick rump in your pumps.
Right.
Why not?
In your pumps.
You
I
know,
like that, man.
that's the best thing I can tell them. Like that's what you get when you come to us. Like it's two brothers. We have a sense of humor,
Right, which is
so we
good.
try to keep it as fun and light as possible.
Right.
But we have those moments where we get serious and
Oh,
we
yeah,
tell
'cause
you
it's,
what
it's
it
a
is.
serious, It's a serious
Yes.
stuff.
But we can have fun and still
Right.
teach you the fundamentals.
And how long do the classes take? And are there like a series of classes? They do like a series of 6 classes. Is every class different? Or do you have focus classes for kicks, for slaps, for punches?
So it's a mixed up class.
Right.
So,
So it's
each
mixed martial
class
arts?
it's a mixed martial art.
Fantastic.
But I think every Divas in Defense location, we make sure you get a strike, a break, and something else within in every class.
Got it.
So every class is different.
How long does the class?
The
usually
classes
last?
are about an hour.
Oh, so pretty short.
Yeah, I mean, you can come back. You know,
Which is
please come
good.
back.
Exactly.
You know,
That's good.
you
That's
know.
true. That's
But
true.
if you want a one-off self-defense class, just to have an understanding of your options,
Right.
we have that.
Which is great.
But if you're someone that's like, no, I'm out here by myself. I just moved to Los Angeles or a new city,
Right.
and I'm here by myself. Or your daughter's going off to college, and you're concerned with her safety on college campus.
Right.
You know, well, Divas in
the
Defense
way to
is
go.
the place to go.
I agree with that.
You know, because we build those classes around those different scenarios.
Right.
And that's why, like, it's not a long where you have to go to us every month, every week consistently.
Right.
But you take 4 or 5 classes with us, and believe me, you'll be
prepared.
on your way.
I think that's fantastic.
You know.
And the age again is from 7 until
We start at 7.
Great.
I think 7 is a great age to where they can have an understanding. But
Of
because
what's
we keep the classes fun, we keep their attention.
Right.
And
how small are the class? They're usually like less than 20 people, 30 people. or
less
they
than
can-
20 people. I have done the class up to 100 people.
That's a
you
lot.
know, but it's just about having the right staff to go through, because what it is, we want to make sure everyone is getting the stance correctly. They're striking effectively. You know, like I don't want anyone to leave the class not knowing what they should know.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so and it's very hard sometimes as a founder. If I go teach a class, that class might run longer than an hour because I'm just so. I
You want-
need
you
it
want
to
it
be like
perfect.
this. I need it to be like this. I'll spend 15 minutes on one thing just to make sure everyone has it correctly.
You see that one thing that you spend a lot of time on, maybe that one thing that gets them out of a bad situation.
Exactly.
So I think that's
It's
a
just
good
simple
thing.
things.
Right. But it's simple for you. It may not be that simple for them. And also, I think you have to not only teach them awareness, but also that when they're in that situation, to not panic.
Exactly.
You know, to know that they're in control.
But you know,
if you're aware,
that takes
you have
time.
control.
That
Of
takes
course it
time and
does.
practice.
Of course.
You know, to go from, passive to rage is very difficult
Right.
for a lot of women.
Right.
Also men. Like there's men that can't do it.
Right.
You know, but knowing that, again, knowing your self-worth.
Yes. Yes.
And there
yes.
is no option,
None.
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 but you to be safe, then
Exactly.
that's it.
That is period.
You know, and I think my toughest thing is with young girls.
Right.
Teaching them that if a kidnapper has a gun and they tell you get in the car, you run.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, well, he has a gun. No, you run. Because what you have to understand, mommy and daddy can't find you once you get in that car
That's correct.
and leave.
That's correct.
Once you leave that location, there is no other location. You know, I don't know where that is.
We don't know if that place will be a place of life.
And whatever he wanted with you, he can't do till he get to that second location.
Right.
So even if he shoots at you or shoots you at that first location, at least we can find you.
Right.
You're no longer good to them.
Right.
So you might as well take your chances.
It's true. That's true.
And that's so hard to get a 9-year-old to
to
understand.
understand that.
You know, but by the end of that class, they were like, okay,
They haven't.
what do we understand? We don't get in the car. Okay, that's fine. That's
Wow.
even if it's like the kick's a little shaky. As long as you know you don't get in that car,
You keep it.
I'm
real
happy with that class right then and there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know.
I think it's great that you really give them not only education about it, but this sense of self-empowerment that you're in control. If you're aware, you're in control.
Yes,
But be aware.
that's the important part.
Wow. So
And
intense.
then after you do what you have to do, you run away.
Period. You don't stay.
You know,
around.
don't stand there and just keep
Kicking,
taunting the guy
yeah,
and kicking. No,
you
get out of there.
the situation.
Right.
Wow. When you look now at the present situations, for example, and we see a lot of things with domestic violence, what would you say are the top 4 things that women should know to get out of any situation that does not seem safe?
Leave the first chance you get.
Leave.
That's the like whenever you have the open opportunity to get out of there, get out.
Right.
There's so many helplines and centers that are available to you and your children if you have children.
Right.
I don't care if you have 5 children.
Right.
There's placements for you.
Right.
You know,
You're saying if a woman will leave an abusive relationship, there are places where she can go for safety.
There is.
I know there's a national coalition, National Defense Coalition, I think it is.
They have that. They have the Genesis Foundation.
Yes.
They have Safe Haven.
Yes.
And a lot of the websites, if you go to websites, if you hit any key, if that man walk in, you hit any key, it'll like exit out and it'll erase from your history of search.
Really?
You know, so it's like they have those built into those now.
Right.
So they're very safe to get education about what's going on there.
I got to tell you this. I was even talking to an officer I take care of. I was like maybe 5 weeks ago, and we were talking. I asked him about abuse, and we were talking about that, and he said, you know, a lot of women, and people don't know, if you have a bad situation, you can just go to a firehouse, and they will be safe. They will get you to the right place. Just going to a firehouse, say, I need help. Just like they will take abandoned babies, they will take a family. They will find someone or some place for them to go because it's an unsafe environment. You know,
Exactly.
same if you go to a police, they say, I need help. But many people will not go. They will kind of stick it out. Or what they teach us in medicine is that people will think that they can change that person, that first hit, there'll never be a second one. And if there is, then they didn't really mean it. And if there's a third, well, it won't be a fourth. But then sometime the fourth is death.
Right.
You
Or
know,
they
there's
start to take blame. They blame themselves.
Blame themselves. Or feel like that they're okay with getting that. They should be treated that way. But they should not.
Never should you be treated that way.
Never.
But to the list of things that you were saying,
Yes.
you have to report it. That's the biggest thing.
I agree.
You have to report it. So domestic violence is the biggest non-reported crime in America.
Yeah.
You know, so if the poll is higher in murder and domestic violence than on regular street crime,
Can you imagine?
but it's not shown that way because more street crimes are being, you know, talked about.
Right.
Then
Domestic ones are not. They're the secret crimes. I call
exactly.
them.
It's the secret crime.
Right.
So it's like you have to say something.
Right.
You know, don't feel like your friends don't love you.
Right. Or
Don't
your
feel
family.
like they've abandoned you.
Right.
No matter if you've cursed them out.
Right.
If you come back to them, it's open doors. And if you think you can't go to them, go to the nearest church, firehouse, police station, shelters. Like those things are available, and they will not give out your name. They won't show no pictures.
Nothing.
Like, and it's so different. Like, and how I know this because I've tried to offer my services to, like women's shelters.
Yes.
They don't allow men there.
There you go.
You know, like even if you're trying to make a
cannot come
difference, or you know, these women don't want to be seen, or I've tried to invite them to events.
Right. They
you
want
know,
to feel safe. no
right,
matter
and it's
what.
like they keep them safe. They won't even let them come to my events. They be like, no, they don't want to be seen.
Wow.
Okay, got it.
Isn't that interesting, though, that even yourself, as a purveyor of health, of trying to really help them to do better, they still will keep you out because they want to make sure that they're safe no matter what.
And I understand.
You have to.
I have to. Like I've done a class with them, and I like a lot of women like to take like a group picture.
Right.
If it's a class like that, there is no pictures. There's no video. There's no pictures. It never happened. I was there and I was out.
Period.
It was like Batman.
Wow, man. Exactly right. That's a good way to say it, man. It's like Batman. Now you see him, now you don't.
Exactly.
Wow. Well, what do you see as the growth for your organization of Divas in Defense?
So since our existence, we started a licensing program.
Yes.
So there are other Divas in Defense
Fantastic.
locations throughout the U.S. and we have one outside the country.
Okay,
so it's
you have
just
one in Atlanta, I know. You
Yeah,
have
that's so.
Atlanta,
My
that's
brother
the big
lives in
one.
Atlanta, so
Okay.
that's where he is.
Got it.
So
Got
you
it.
know he's the defense mogul in Atlanta.
That's fantastic. That's
you know,
fantastic.
so he's done great there, and he's gotten to the point where now he's hired trainers, so many trainers to work
under him. That's good.
just to teach the class.
And then they're certified to teach the class.
Exactly. So we have our own curriculum.
Great.
We certify people in our curriculum. Every Divas in Defense class you go to, you get the same treatment, you get the same type of class, the same fun, the same excitement at everyone. It's a family-owned business, so we vet every trainer.
I think
like,
that's great
it's very
because it
important.
keeps everything consistent.
Exactly.
You have to have I'm sure, a background check of who these trainers are. Because
Yes, we do.
If you don't, maybe they're infiltrating you to find out stuff that they should not.
True.
Need to find out.
And like I love it that to be honest, there's a lot of men that are like wanting to make a difference.
Right.
So to have two men that own a women's self-defense company,
It's fantastic.
and then we have other men trainers that want to come on because they see our fight and they're trying to make a difference as well.
Absolutely.
It's always great. But then we have a handful of women trainers that come in because they're survivors or they know someone, so they want to be able to just teach something different. So the expansion of Divas in Defense is a lot further along than most companies in their first 5 to 6 years.
Yes.
And I would like to just see that increase.
And it will.
All of us are out of homes or out of parks.
Right.
But we're looking to start opening like brick and mortars.
Absolutely.
It's just it hasn't been a demand for it. From going to people's houses and offices and churches and things like that. That's been an ongoing thing for years.
Right.
So it worked for us, so it worked for everyone else that came in after us.
Absolutely.
But now we're trying to say, hey, I think Divas in Defense needs a location now.
Absolutely.
So to have these classes daily and have these things going consistently at a set location, I think is going to make a difference.
Absolutely. As you were talking, I was thinking it'd be great to have this type part of the curriculum in high schools and even in college, because it offers a lot.
Yes.
Especially on college campuses now with so much going on, so much talked about, and then so much that's not talked about that's still happening on college campuses. And I also think high school would be a perfect place for this.
Perfect.
When I say perfect, perfect.
Elementary as well, though.
I was going to say that's the basis.
Right. So I'm a household name when it comes to the Girl Scouts of Greater Los Angeles.
Right.
Like, if any of them talk about a self-defense class, they're definitely referred to us from another troop or from the office themselves, because we've done so much work with them and they've been such a help to what we're trying to do. And starting at that age is just needed. So important.
It's needed. When you were talking, I was thinking about two other organizations I think would be great for your services. One would be the Boys and Girls Club of America, because there you would really have a major impact on young lives and letting them know. Same with the Boy Scouts, letting them know, because they might be a Boy Scout, you don't know what they're doing, they're not there. So I think if you give this knowledge of how people should be treated, because it also what Divas in Defense is about is really giving an understanding about what is it to respect another human being.
Right.
Respect them physically and emotionally, and not treat anybody like they're less than.
Exactly.
I mean, it's fantastic. What does your family think about this now? Because now it's sustained. So your mom doesn't have to wonder about, well, I don't know if you should do it. I don't know if we, but now it is a sustained platform, Divas in Defense. It's recognized.
You know what? All of my friends and family support us.
That's great.
They comment on what we're doing. Everyone has a T-shirt. That's where everyone in family.
Well, I'll buy one myself.
They have T-shirts. They like, oh, we're gonna do this, or they definitely congratulate us on what we're doing.
Right.
Especially when they see us on TV. It's like, oh, you all have made it.
Right.
People like, no, we just on TV.
Right.
It's just one day at a time.
Exactly.
But those are definitely like huge accomplishments that we've made, and we're happy just as a unit. Yes, we do want the company to continue to grow, so we do have some.
How could not?
Some plans of how we're going to do that.
Right.
But where we are now, I think we've
in a good place.
We've come a long way.
Absolutely. Don't forget,
in a short time.
In a short time. It's just an idea, and now 6 years later, this is a major national platform. It's fantastic. I want to bring on everyone. I want you to know, I thought it would be very appropriate for us to have on, my manager, my PR person, our diva of all divas from West Covina here, Ms. Janet Rodriquez. I like to get her insights about this because, I think it's so important to do this show on women's empowerment. I think it's great to have on a gentleman like Chris Britto to really talk about Divas in Defense. I want to know, what's your take about Divas in Defense, Ms. Rodriquez? What are your thoughts?
Hi, Doc. Hi, Chris. Thanks
Hello.
for bringing me on.
Happy
I
to
think
have
it's
you.
fantastic.
I
I'm
do
just
too.
going to go right into it because
Yes.
we're running out of time. But
Yes.
I took Chris's class several years ago with
Yes.
my daughter, and it was
Jamie?
With Jamie, it was life changing because it's not just so much about domestic violence, and yes, that does exist. And I was pulling up some stats that I'm going to share with you as well. Assaults in general can
Right.
take place. You know,
Absolutely.
and in school, my daughter was assaulted when she was 15 years old in middle school. So,
Unbelievable.
you know, so what he teaches is definitely, you know, teaches us women to be aware of our surroundings. I'm guilty of texting and walking. I'm guilty of not always being aware of my surroundings. But the more we get educated,
Absolutely.
and the more we take, you know, precautions
Right.
to protect ourselves, the better we'll be.
I agree with that. I
You know.
agree. What would you say was the major lesson that you learned from his class?
Was that just to be aware of our surrounding at all times, and the little it was funny because when I took his class, it was taught by a female who was very, very fit and very, very powerful in her own little petite way.
Right.
But she taught us techniques that I have never even heard of or seen. You know, and just and like he said earlier, if you have nails, be a diva, have
Right,
your
use
nails,
them.
but then use them if you
Right.
have to.
See?
So
yeah, you did say it.
I don't have
Yeah.
nails, but I carry keys. I
Right.
carry, you know, whatever the case may be. So I think, again, just being, you know, aware of your surroundings. So just really quickly, over 3 million incidents of domestic violence are reported in LA County alone.
That's reported. Now, what about the
Reported.
ones that are not reported?
3 million.
That's unbelievable.
And then listen to this. 4,000 of
Right.
those 3 million were killed.
Horrible.
Isn't that crazy?
Horrible.
And that's just
Horrible.
domestic violence. And then we've got the statistics that show about assault, you know, about robbery, all
Right.
this other things that not necessarily could be prevented, but at least it doesn't have to go to the next level where we can essentially be raped.
Right.
You know,
Or
we
killed.
can be killed.
Right.
You know, or things like that. So we definitely have to be aware. And it just doesn't have to be, again, not so much to speaking on men. I'll defend men.
Right, right.
But we can be attacked by another
Oh,
woman.
You're
absolutely.
right. To be honest
You know?
with the both of you,
Right.
in same-sex relationships is even higher
Wow.
than heterosexual relationships.
Oh, really?
It is.
Right.
It
I
really
didn't know
is.
that.
I didn't know that either.
It
That's
is.
crazy.
That's been something I've learned.
That domestic violence is higher in same-sex relationships.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Well, with the gay and lesbian community, with the gay and lesbian community rising and people being more exposed, I think, and just being more, I would assume that
You
number
gotta
to
think.
come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 men arguing, that becomes a fight.
Wow.
2 women arguing, that becomes
Wow.
a fight.
Never,
You know.
never thought about that.
I want to touch on, Doc, a little bit about knowing your worth. This
Yes.
weekend, I went out with a group of friends, and my girlfriend has been dating this gentleman for what we think is a gentleman, very, very nice guy, for just several weeks.
You met him also?
We met him and so forth. And we're at a public place where there's a lot of, you know, dancing going on
Fun
and a lot of
place.
fun. Yeah. And so he starts showing some major red flags in terms of jealousy
Yes.
and control issues and
in,
just
in front of everyone?
in front of everybody. Now, that's what he does that 3 weeks in front of it. Imagine what this man could be capable of, behind closed doors.
Now, I want to know specifically, what are some of the red flags when you talk about that? What are the things that he said or did that were like a tip off to you, like, something could be going on here?
Do not dance with anybody. That was
What
like
was
his
that? That's
rule.
something he said to
Something
her?
he said to her. And then as we're doing, you know, regular things and we're dancing, whatever, he says, "Why are you looking at that guy? And why is he looking
He
at
says
you?"
that to her in front of everyone.
Mind you, we're in a group setting. Yeah, and it was pretty loud. And then he went as far as physically. Now, mind you, 3 weeks into dating this girl, physically grabbed her hand, pulled her over towards him, and says, "Why are you looking at that guy?" Da, da, da.
Okay.
I was like,
So
"Oh
yeah,
my God."
yeah, it's not.
It's just
When
not
I hear something like
cool.
that all that sounds
It makes you cringe because
very
you're
much
thinking,
so.
3 weeks.
Now, what are your thoughts when you hear something like that, Chris?
I mean, I've already commented on that.
Right.
They should definitely run for the hills.
Pretty much.
Right.
Like them early signs like
much.
that. That's
Can
a
you
red
imagine
flag. Something's wrong.
grabbing her
Right.
after 3 weeks?
I'm
or
a
ever
little.
grabbing
I'm
her?
a little surprised that Miss Rodriguez didn't punch him.
well,
You know,
let me
get
tell
your
you.
hands off of her.
Let me tell you, I actually approached him because I was going to, and the friends that I was with were like, "Janet, don't get involved." Excuse me.
Right.
I just saw what I saw, and I had to check him. That was not cool.
And what did she say?
Well, that surprises me too because she's as spunky, as spicy as
Right.
on steroids than I am.
Right.
So I couldn't believe that she was allowing this to happen.
In a public
I
environment
could
like
not believe this was happening. So needless to say, I think she was more on the "I'm not going to let this man ruin my day" type of thing.
Yeah.
And because we were in a public setting, I think she felt a little bit safe. But he ended up leaving her there.
Drove off?
Left, which is fine. Deuces, bye, boy, bye.
Oh, my gosh.
But, he ended up leaving her there.
They came together?
They went together.
Can you imagine that?
That'd be
Chris?
the last date.
Yeah, pretty much.
Absolutely.
Pretty much.
So again, touching on women, we have to understand
agree, Janet.
that we are beautiful within ourselves.
Yes.
We
Yes.
bring something to the table
Absolutely.
every single time. And you've
Yes.
got to know your worth.
I agree.
And
I
do
agree.
not, I say this on my Facebook all the time, do not let anybody disturb your peace.
No one.
It's not worth it.
No one. Never let anyone put their hands on you.
Absolutely
Or,
not.
and never feel like you're being emotionally abused by someone. Because often people, what do I call grooming? They will groom you to make you think that you're less than, that you're
Right.
not that pretty, you're not that good, you're not fit enough, you're not
Right.
this enough. Something you're not enough of. But it's not really you that's not enough. It's them that's
Right,
not
right,
enough.
right.
They want to put their stuff on you.
Yeah.
So relationships are very complicated. But I
Yeah.
think self-worth is the kernel of truth there.
Right.
You have to feel valuable. You have to feel value without feeling you need to be validated by
Right.
anybody
Right,
else.
right. And it's a beautiful thing to be single and be happy and be at peace.
You can always be happy by yourself.
Right. So
Take it from me.
whoever you decide to date or allow to deposit in your life
Right.
needs to be in a positive and loving way.
Absolutely.
If not,
Bye.
deuces.
Pretty much. Pretty much. What are your thoughts there, Chris?
No, I definitely agree with
Yes.
that. She said
I
it
want
all.
to thank Janet also. I
Yes.
mean, just
Thank
powerful
you.
commentary.
You said it all right then and there. We just gotta be mindful when we're dating. Just
agree.
The person that you first meet is just an interviewer.
Correct.
Right. The representative.
Let me tell you, when you said that, it makes me think of, this is an old joke I tell a friend of mine, is that when you're going out with someone for the first time, they get there on time and they're nice and they're wonderful and you're happy. The date is just great. The second date, they're about 10, 15 minutes late and the date is, it's okay, not bad. The third date, they're a half an hour late and they don't even call you to tell you that they're going to be late. But you just wait and they get there and the date is really okay. By the fourth date, you're thinking, the person shows up and you look at him, you're thinking, now who are you? I want the person I had on the first date because I don't know you.
Imagine 2 or 3 years from now.
Oh, can you imagine?
No.
Right.
So I think we have to be, and you said it so profoundly wise, and so did Janet, is that you have to be aware, Chris. You have to be really aware of your environment. You have to be aware of how people are treating you. If you don't like it, then do something about it.
Exactly.
Period.
Right.
And Divas in Defense is really about action. It's about a POA, a plan of action.
That it is.
And I like the fact that
Results.
that you are
Right.
able to give results. Exactly. Now, how can people contact you? Are you on social media? What are
We
your
are.
platforms?
Divas in Defense is the name of the company. You can find Divas in Defense on everything. www.divasinDefense.com.
And I will get a T-shirt. I will buy a T-shirt. I will wear that soon also.
Hey.
Yeah, I wear mine all the time. But he has different classes, Doc. There's classes like kicks and cocktails.
I saw the one about kicks and cupcakes.
cupcakes.
I saw that one. I
know.
saw that one.
Divas and dudes.
Right.
Girls can fight too. That's so grown and
Right.
sexy. I
It's just
love it. Yeah.
fantastic. Well, Chris, I got to thank you. It was great having you here and having your beautiful daughter here, Parker. And I just want to say you're doing great things in the community and great things nationally as well as internationally to raise awareness about domestic abuse and domestic violence.
Thank you.
And how women can be empowered and educated and taught to defend themselves and love themselves just the way they are.
Yes, exactly.
So I want to
you for
thank Chris
having me.
Britto. It was a pleasure and honor. I want to thank amazing diva of all divas, Janet Rodriquez, for being with us, and our mini diva here, Parker, also. So it was a great show, everyone. I hope you are educated and empowered. And of course, this is our Women's Empowerment Show. This is Dr. Levi. Happy to have you with us. Be kind to people, and remember, every day is a gift. And secondly, no matter what, you are worthy. I'll talk to you soon. See you next week. It's Dr. Levi. Bye, everyone.